Hi there, my name is Mandy and I'm an educational mentor. As an educational mentor, what's the first thing that popped into my head when I realized that I would be homeschooling my children? Well, for the next little while anyway. Well, it's not what many people may think. It was definitely not worksheets, and it was definitely not how am I going to make a learning schedule for my children. It was open-ended resources. It was things like clay or Play-Doh. Now I know that the benefits of clay outweigh the benefits of Play-Doh in many circumstances, but you know, when we don't have access to clay, we can absolutely make Play-Doh. So why Play-Doh? Well, Play-Doh is among like many of the tools of my trade. It's open-ended. With Play-Doh, all of those formal type lessons that people are rushing to download worksheets for can be learnt through play. And as many of us know, play is absolutely the best way for our children to learn. So when I mention this to some of my friends, they're worried and they're rushing out going, oh no, I have to go and buy some Play-Doh. Please don't, please stop. You can totally make Play-Doh with some of the ingredients that you've already got in your home. So I'm going to quickly show you today how to make Play-Doh, and with a couple of little tricks that I've learnt throughout the years to make Play-Doh that is just as good, if not better, than the store-bought Play-Doh. Okay? Okay, so first what we have to do is we have to gather together the ingredients that we need. The recipe that I'm going to use, which is the one that I follow all the time, is from the cream of tartar container. Okay, so this cream of tartar here actually has on the back the Play-Doh recipe. Okay, I'll put that up on the video at the end as well, but this is the recipe that I use. So we need cream of tartar, we need table salt, we need plain flour, and we need food coloring, and we also need hot water. Okay, so this is where one of my tricks is that on here it doesn't actually mention hot water, but trust me, if you use boiling water, it will make your Play-Doh softer and last longer. Okay, so the steps to make your Play-Doh. I've already put the kettle on to boil, and now we're going to measure out our ingredients. So in here it says that we need 2 cups of plain flour. Doesn't need to be sifted. We literally just get 2 cups of plain flour. Next on here it says that we need 4 tablespoons of cream of tartar. And it doesn't have to be an exact science. This is actually a dessert spoon. So just going to heap it a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4 spoons of cream of tartar. Then it tells me that I need 1 cup of salt. There we go, 1 cup of salt. And then it says that we need 2 cups of water. And like I said, this is where we need to use boiling water. So what I also like to do for the food colouring, I put the food colouring in with the water. It makes the food colouring even out through the Play-Doh more. So while I'm waiting for that to boil, I'm just going to put a cap full of food colouring in. And now we can hear that our kettle is boiling. And it tells us that we need 2 cups of water. So I'm going to make this go up to the 2 cup mark. This jug has a 2 cup mark. So 2 cups of boiling water. And simply just pour that into the Play-Doh. Another little trick that I've learned is when you're putting the hot water in, that's when you put your 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil in. That helps to mix it around a little bit easier because the hot water makes the oil distribute a little bit better. Okay, so we need to mix through the Play-Doh as best we can. This is the point where you might think, oh, that didn't turn out very good, but the more you mix, the better it gets. We mix the flour through as much as we possibly can. Now it's really, really hot right now, so I'm still using the spoon. But what the hot water does is it actually cooks the flour just a little bit. So makes it so that it ends up a lot softer and it lasts a lot longer as well. So getting it through as much as I possibly can, mixing, mixing, mixing. Still doesn't look like the Play-Doh that you buy at the store, but after we have kneaded it, then it will start to look like that. So after I've mixed all of the ingredients in, my next step is to knead the Play-Doh. Okay, so now we've mixed all the ingredients, we're going to put it onto the bench, and it still doesn't look like the store-bought Play-Doh. But this is one of the crucial steps, which is the kneading step. Because it doesn't feel like or look like the Play-Doh, but if you keep on kneading it, the longer you knead it, the better your Play-Doh gets. So this is also mixing it at the same time, but the kneading process, it's very hot. The kneading process makes your Play-Doh softer. Okay, so we need to keep kneading and kneading and kneading. The more that you knead and play with the dough, the better it becomes. It gets all of the lumps out and makes it more pliable. It is quite hot at the start, but the more you knead it, the cooler it gets. And that's kind of an indication as well as to when to stop kneading it, because you'll feel it cool down to the point where it just starts to feel like Play-Doh. It even starts to smell like store-bought Play-Doh. So you can see how the color is going evenly through it, and it's becoming smoother and smoother. It's still a bit grainy, so it needs to still be kneaded. This is definitely something that you can do with your children as well. Obviously with the hot water, you'll need to be careful with the measuring out the hot water, but all the other steps definitely involves mathematics. So there you have it. I can continue kneading that, but you can see that our Play-Doh now looks like store-bought Play-Doh and feels like store-bought Play-Doh. The trick to this is keep it sealed in a airtight container. So plastic container is fine, just as long as it's an airtight container. So every time the children play with it, then put it back into an airtight container.